Thank you for that generous introduction, and Steve, and to Taurus and Wanda, and all those assembled, and those who have been behind this Hope effort. We thank you for this extremely important effort at this extremely important time in our country and in our nation's history. It's an honor and a privilege to be here with so many distinguished public servants, so many distinguished young professionals, so many distinguished community activists from all across this country. When I flew in to Denver a few days ago, I couldn't help but reflect upon the fact that 100 years ago this summer, the Democratic Party held their national convention in Denver, Colorado. Now, I don't have any videotape from that convention, but I do have an unreasonable suspicion that there weren't a whole lot of blacks in that convention hall. There weren't a whole lot of Latinos, a whole lot of people of color, a whole lot of women in that convention hall. I have an unreasonable suspicion that there weren't a whole lot of working class folks in that convention hall. Because we know that the America of today is very different than the America of yesterday. Back in 1908, 100 years ago, when Jim Crow was alive and well and women still hadn't been given the right to vote, people of color treated as second-class citizens, and worker exploitation was rampant all across the country. The America of today is very different than the America of yesterday. And we know that we've come a long way since those 100 years. Things have changed dramatically in this country. We have women and African American and Latino CEOs, doctors, lawyers, investment bankers, educators, engineers, and of course presidential candidates like Clinton and Obama and Richardson. We've come a long way in those 100 years. And the reason why we are where we are today, of course, is that generation after generation after generation of our ancestors worked hard, they sacrificed, they struggled so that we would be where we are today. And so that brings us to a question that I think Hope has helped us to ponder, and that we all should be asking, which is, when we leave this place, when we span out all across this country, when years have passed, when all of our traveling days are done, what is the history books going to say about our generation? Are we going to have contributed to this process of transforming America? What are the historians going to say? Are they just simply going to ridicule or label us as the hip-hop generation? Are they going to say that we were all about the bling, but when it came to HIV and AIDS, we didn't do a thing? Are they going to say that we love to pop bottles in the club, but so many of us were suffering through gang violence and drugs? Are they going to say that we were all about the Maybach when our brother Sean Bell was gunned down with 50 shots simply because it was black? What are they going to say about our generation when the history books are written? I'm hopeful that because of this effort and efforts like this all across the country, we're going to be called the change generation. But if we're to be called the change generation, there's a whole lot of work that needs to be done when the partying and the networking are done on Thursday. If we're going to be called the change generation, then we have to make sure we go back home and improve the quality of our public school system so that our children are prepared to adequately deal with the challenges of the 21st century. If we're going to be called the change generation, then we need to reform health care and make sure we take care of the sick and the afflicted. If we're going to be called the change generation, then we need to reform the criminal justice system and make sure that justice is truly colorblind and doesn't turn on one's race or gender or socioeconomic status. What are the history books going to say about our generation? Let me end on this. The African impala is commonly referred to as the deer of the continent of Africa. And the impala, this magnificent creature, it has the ability to leap heights of up to 10 feet and to travel distances greater than 30 feet. But you can keep the impala, this magnificent creature from Africa, enclosed in a brick wall no more than 3 feet high, because the impala will not jump if it cannot see where its feet will land. And I think there's so many folks from our generation who want to change America, who want to be part of this transformation, but they don't participate. They stand still because they're unsure of what's going to happen. They're uncertain about the outcome. But because of efforts like this, and because of people like you, I know and I'm confident that we have the talent and the ability and the work ethic and the integrity and the intelligence to continue the process of changing America. And I'm confident that if we take this leap together, y'all won't be disappointed in where we land. God bless everyone.
Thank you, Hakeem. Our final speaker is going to be